Today's not just about making new purchases, it's also a day when many return their unwanted Christmas presents. But half of all Australians don't know what their rights are when it comes to refunds and exchanges. Ingrid Just from community group Choice says in many cases the retailer has an obligation to the consumer.
Well, if an item is faulty, if it's defective, if it's not fit for purpose or as described on the packaging, then you're entitled to a refund, a replacement or a repair. But if you simply don't like that present, or it's the wrong shape or the wrong colour, then under the Australian Consumer Guarantee laws, you aren't entitled to a refund. However, good news is that there are some generous retailers out there who do have policies that allow you to exchange items that aren't just quite right for you. The key thing is to check that credit note or that exchange time. Some of the bigger stores have a 28-day opportunity to exchange. Others might have 7 or 14 days. So certainly check that when you're purchasing or when you're unsure and whether you want to return that gift, just how long you've got to do so.
Now, I'd imagine that the large amount of gifts going back are the sort of gifts that you get, as you mentioned, that you don't always want or need. So what about if you don't have a receipt?
Look, it's not all bad news. Again, some of the larger retailers will consider refunding or returning that item, exchanging it, if you can provide some other form of purchase proof. For example, a credit card statement if you've bought that item, or if the item was purchased using a credit card, or if the tag is still clearly visible, if it hasn't been used. Some retailers are generous and will exchange it if it's in a really good state, and if you return it as soon as you're able to.
So can the stores refuse a refund or exchange? Because I know that certainly happened to me, and I'm sure to many other people.
Yeah, look, again, simply if you don't like that gift from Great Aunt Ethel, or if it's the wrong size, then you're not entitled to a refund or an exchange. The item has to be faulty or defective in some way. And
what about if you've purchased an item online?
You are still protected by the Australian Consumer Guarantee laws if you've purchased online within Australia. So if the product is dodgy, if it's defective, yes, you're entitled to a refund, a replacement or a repair. But just be mindful of the delivery costs. That may not necessarily be covered in the terms and conditions. And if you need to ship that item back or post it back and then another one back to you, you may be up for a little bit extra. Additionally, if you've purchased an item on sale, and there'll be a lot of people hitting the sales today and tomorrow, again, if it's faulty, you are still covered by Australian Consumer Guarantee laws. And if that item is faulty and it's not labelled as a second, then you are entitled for it to be refunded.
Ingrid Just from Choice, thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks, Bridget.